Inception is directed by Christopher Nolan and stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Ellen Page, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Marion Cotillard, Tom Hardy, and so many other people. This is a humongous cast full of megastars. Welcome to the third installment of my Christopher Nolan movie reviews. I already reviewed Memento and The Dark Knight. You can find those videos on my channel right here. I have been reviewing some of Christopher Nolan's movies leading up to the movie Dunkirk coming out in 2 weeks, and now we're finally at the most intriguing movie on this list, at least in my opinion, Inception. In this video, there will be some minor spoilers dealing with the ending of this movie because I just have to talk about that last little scene in this movie, but other than that, there really aren't that many spoilers, but still some slight spoilers, so you've been warned. Now, when it comes to Inception, this movie, to me, is very special. The idea behind this movie is one of a kind and something that I have grown to love over the last couple of years, and if I were to say this was not my favorite movie of all time, that would be blasphemous because this movie has grown with me and lies in a very special place in my heart. A funny thing about this movie is that I never actually saw it in theaters. I think I was about 12 years old when it came out, and I saw it for the first time about a year and a half after it hit theaters, and the first time I actually watched it, I only saw about the last hour of the movie, so I had no idea what was even going on at that point. But when I was watching it, I was extremely intrigued, and it was all because of this last hour of the movie, and that made me want to watch the beginning to find out what happened. And the plot with this movie is also very hard to follow and requires more than one viewing, but it honestly benefits from this. So in Inception, Dom Cobb, he's a thief, and he performs corporate espionage by doing Inception using military technology. And when doing Inception, they extract valuable information in the dream world. Later in the film, Saito, played by Ken Watanabe, collaborates to deal with Cobb, citing that if he helps change the mind of a CEO, Saito will in turn clear Cobb of a crime he was wrongly convicted of, allowing him to return home. Now let's start talking about the cast of Inception. As I said, it's a huge cast, very stacked. Leonardo DiCaprio is the lead in this movie, and you guys know, Leonardo DiCaprio, he is one of my favorite actors of all time, if not my favorite actor of all time, and in this role as Dom Cobb, he is incredible. I love him in this movie, and this is the movie that actually got me onto the Leonardo DiCaprio train, and ever since then, I've just loved him. But really, everybody in this movie, their performances are all incredible from top to bottom. Everybody is at their best, just like in the movie The Dark Knight. And because of this stacked cast and everything surrounding this film, Inception, to me, is the reason why we watch movies. This movie is extremely epic and really well made. And I once again have to give props to Christopher Nolan with his filmmaking, direction, and overall style because it is as best as it can possibly be with this movie. He is amazing with the direction when it comes to this movie. One thing I also like about this movie is the idea behind it and how it's extremely original. Just think about it. It's a movie about going inside people's minds, and it's absolutely brilliant. The plot to this movie is brilliant. Yes, very confusing at times, but brilliant is what I put it at. And the plot to this movie is, in my opinion, flawless. The overall script and screenplay is extremely fast-paced and very well written. It's such an original idea. I love how Christopher Nolan comes up with these extravagant ideas for movies and they always land. This movie just hits so hard, and it's just because of the unbelievable direction this movie goes in. The set pieces in this movie are big. The sets themselves are all practical, and they do use some CGI, but it's very well incorporated into the film and it's hard to even notice. Let's talk about the score to Inception. I think this might be my favorite score of all time. There are so many good songs in this movie. The song Dream is Collapsing, that is an incredible, very thrilling song that plays throughout this entire movie. Also, the song at the end that plays, Time, is very breathtaking. I love that song so much. I'll talk about it a little bit more at the end of this review. When going back to the pacing though, I think it all has to do with the dynamic with Christopher Nolan when he creates these films. He doesn't focus on too many plots. He actually sticks to one main plot and might add a little bit of a side plot that causes problems for characters along the line. In this movie, we have Cobb, who's dealing with his deceased wife and how she's going into these dreams distracting him and causing many problems, which then affects if they're able to complete these jobs and ultimately creates a bump in the road. And the one thing that really set this movie off for me was the ending, because this is one of the most beautiful endings that I know to this day. The score incorporated with Leonardo DiCaprio getting off the plane and seeing everybody he just worked with going by them, looking at them one by one, it's all very well done, very well directed. And then we have this final shot where you see Leonardo DiCaprio walk in, he sees his kids for the first time in possibly years, then the camera pans slightly left, tracking downward, and we see the spinner going around and around. And then right before, if we can tell if it's going to drop or not, the movie cuts to black and we get the title at the end. And so the whole reveal is that you're not even sure if he was dreaming or not this entire movie. And that, my friends, was a fantastic way in ending such a brilliant movie overall that Inception is. Inception is my favorite movie of all time. There is not one flaw with this movie that I have. It does take several viewings to ultimately understand the entire plot, but once you watch it so many times, you'll completely understand the entire movie, and it's well worth it because this movie is a masterpiece. So many great things. The cast is incredible, very fast-paced, very well directed, an incredible score, and an overall amazing idea behind this movie. I'm going to give Inception, of course, a 100%. I can go on for hours and hours talking about every aspect of this movie and what I love, but I just can't because there's so much to talk about. But Inception, great movie. Check it out if you have not done so yet. I've talked to so many people over the years and they've said they've never seen this movie. Go watch it. It's well worth it. Alright guys, and my next review in the Christopher Nolan series will be for The Dark Knight Rises. I'm excited to talk about that one. That will be within the next week. And I also have a plethora of video ideas, and they will all be released within the next couple of weeks, so get ready for many more SvenSulley videos. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.